meeting to order. Everyone has a printed copy of previous meeting's minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, the only other thing we have tonight is but the workshop, well, it's not really a workshop because we are in a meeting. However, at this time, I have to ask Stephen to recuse himself.
Why is that? I have no financial gain from any of this,
No.
Because of bias.
and I don't have any decisions on what they do other than ordinances.
So
And I have every right to have my opinion on ordinances for the town.
yeah, so the attorney was super clear that when it comes to voting on the actual matter, that it's a conflict because you're the one who started the petition. No,
I didn't start the petition, she did.
Well, doesn't matter. Well, that's irrelevant to your wife. But like, I have all of your comments here, and we're gonna go over every single one of them. So your input is 100% going to be included in this conversation. But when it comes to the fact of the actual voting, I mean, we were legal at the very beginning.
Then let Linda step in then.
Legal, so you're gonna have to. Legal was very clear at the beginning that, I mean, let me put it this way, if you vote on it, it opens it up for this to go to court. For any of the other companies who come in and say, nope, there's a conflict of interest. So by definition, a conflict of interest is the appearance of a conflict. So there are lots of times where there are no conflicts, but if there's an appearance of one, then we have to treat it as such. But I've got all of your comments here. See, to be honest with you, you are one of the only ones who actually worked on this ordinance. Like, I can see every single person who commented or did any work at all. So I appreciate your work, and it's all going to be taken into consideration, but for the sake of this being a valid ordinance and not opening it up to being thrown out in court, it's just the way things go.
It's a mineral extraction ordinance for the whole town. Why is it a conflict of interest? It's an ordinance. Not just, it doesn't just affect the state of Alabama.
Okay, in the first place, I shouldn't even be responding to you because you're a member of the audience. However, there's a whole section on bias.
Steve's not biased.
The
I am, but Steve's not.
That's enough, we'll accept it the way it
Steve
is.
is the one that wrote a lot of this. When it comes to the moratorium, when it comes, you've just got so many things under your name that show that you have a bias in a certain way, and in particular against the business.
By your explanation, anybody that made a comment on this is biased.
No, look, I mean, I think the fact of the matter is legal brought it up from the very beginning. In my personal opinion, this isn't code enforcement suggesting it. It's not planning board chair or select board. Like, we're following legal's advice, and it's
All right, let's move on.
okay. That said, again, I've got all your stuff here. And I think that, and this is up to Bruce and the rest of the planning board, this is your guys' board. As long as the discussion isn't being made in the middle of a motion, you guys, could decide if you want to allow Steve to discuss it. I think if he discusses, like, if a motion is made and seconded and then there's discussion, I think that's a flat out not a good idea. But as a board, you can decide if you want to allow general discussion, or Steve, I guess you get to decide too. Like, you guys need to figure out how you guys want to proceed from here. But I think it's got to be a formal recusal of during voting.
How the affected board member should handle a conflict or bias. What does a board member do if a conflict or bias arises? If a process is spelled out in board bylaws or rules and procedure, the board member should follow that. If none, and in my knowledge we have none, the member should make full disclosure for the record of his or her financial interest or any bias which might prevent him or her from being impartial in the matter before the board. The board member must abstain from any further discussion and voting as a board member on that matter. And then MMA quotes a legal precedent. After making these disclosures, if the board member wants to participate as a member of the public, he or she should leave his or her place at the decision-making table and take a seat in the audience. It goes on from there.
Okay, so by your definition you just showed, I don't have any financial interest and I haven't disclosed any bias.
I agree you don't have financial interest, but I disagree on whether or not you are biased.
That's your opinion.
Well, nonetheless, if legal has consulted with us and said to do this, we gotta go with what we're being told.
Correct. This isn't a matter of my opinion or.
I should have any right to defend any comments that I have in the document.
Right, so that's why
Right,
I
you
think.
can, but just no voting.
Right, I think that's why you guys as a board, since we're going to be discussing this, you guys need to decide how you guys want to handle it. I'm pretty firm on the voting portion because that's what legal said. But Steve, like I said, you did a lot of work here, so I don't think you guys got to figure out what you think.
Okay, if a board member does not believe that he or she has a conflict or bias, but other members of the board disagree, the board may vote on that issue. The member with the alleged conflict or bias must abstain.
So what you're saying essentially is, Steve, you guys got to do it right now. You guys need to vote. Is that what I'm getting at?
Yep.
Okay.
And as it says, participation by a board member with a legal conflict of interest or bias may taint the board's decision and cause a reviewing court to remand for a new hearing. A board should address issues of conflict and bias early on in the process. of reviewing an application.
Is that specifically for review of an application?
Well,
That's
they're
what I said.
discussing it, with it, but it has to do with any action the board is taking, anything that the board is
Well, that's not what you just read. You just read reviewing an application. I'm not deciding whether or not somebody's gonna get a
Well, wait, so
permit.
that was only about the, like arguing, bringing it up for review. The fact of the matter is this is how code feels. We've made a lot of progress. In 2 weeks, we have people coming to give hopefully some insight that will help us. And we gotta make moves on this. But until we figure this out, I guess we're stuck. What is that? The planning board manual?
Yeah.
Let's see if I can pull it up.
Okay,
This.
I'll make the motion that Steve Dumont should recuse himself from anything having to do with the vote. And actually going to MMA with discussion. Frankly, I've tried not to bring this issue up previous to this, but personally I feel it's fairly plain. I'm just looking at, I could bring up
Well, that doesn't matter. It's
just
legal.
the petition and what was written.
Point of order. Point of order. What can you're making comments instead of just a motion. What is your motion? What is your motion?
I mean,
Make the motion.
what is it?
The motion is that Steve Dumont has to recuse himself from this discussion and votes
Yeah, I don't
as
agree
a
with that.
member of the board.
I think I should be able to comment on my comments in the document.
Alright, so we need a second and then discussion. One minute, second.
Am I gonna get a second?
Should he be allowed to discuss, just not vote?
Right, so I think either someone
feel
seconds
like-
it or makes it a new motion.
Since
So-
most of the comments in the document are mine,
So hold on, Steve. So right now we have a motion on the floor. If you either get a second and then you do discussion, y'all vote, or if someone wants to make an alternative motion, if they don't like the way Bruce worded it, someone can do that, and you get a second, then you discuss before you vote. So we either need a second or a different motion.
Can I amend the motion to say that he's allowed to provide input but not vote?
Okay, what
That's where we get into a gray area because MMA says he's not even supposed to discuss.
So two things, I still need a second on either motion, and then we can discuss it. So someone, pick one.
I second Mike's.
Mike's, okay. Now it's discussion. The only thing I'll say is Bruce is 100% wrong. He cannot discuss during motions. Like when we're voting on this stuff, there's discussion that comes. That part, no. Pre-discussion, I'm not sure if it's clear in there, but I haven't read that. I'm not on the planning board.
Okay, what did legal say?
Legal said that this is when it was in a full zoning ordinance, that you could work towards the ordinance but could not vote on anything that had to do with mineral extraction activities because it's a conflict of interest. We are now doing a standalone ordinance, but again, like Steve has done a lot of like good work on this, and so I've got all his comments here, but it's a little, like when the lawyer was talking about it, he thought we were doing like the entire land use ordinance, that was what I'm sorry. And so, I mean, I can say legal is very clear about can't vote.
well, indirectly, we are working on the entire land use ordinance because we're gonna be making adjustments to the rest of the ordinances as
Yeah,
well.
which is why this wasn't brought up, so that you could make comments and suggestions, like, and do all that stuff. I think it's just a matter of when you guys vote to what to accept, what not to, what you're gonna do. Okay, so remember, motion on the floor. It's he's gonna recuse himself from formal voting. But can discuss, is that what you said?
Yes.
I don't remember the wording, okay.
Yep, he can make comments and provide
Feedback.
feedback, input.
And then Dave seconded it. Any more discussion?
All those in favor?
I'm going to abstain from this.
Okay.
I'm not going to vote for or yes or no. I'm abstaining.
Okay, so you got 3 in favor, 0 no, 1 abstain. Okay, now, may I show you guys the letter I sent out to whoever I sent, to the people, so I don't know if you guys can see it on the screen, make it smaller. It essentially invites, I did Sergeant, Steve Sanzaro, Williams, and Atlantic to Chad Francis. Those are the 4. Not that I can't send these to more, but I sent an email out, no one told me anymore. There were a few suggestions, and I couldn't determine whether they're active or not. If anyone has any ideas, I'm happy to send this out to them. The plan is after tonight, I'm really hoping that we've got a draft, it's not final, to send to them so that they can make suggestions. One of the people works for the state Sonic Metal Extraction Community Outreach Board, and so they've worked with a lot of different communities. I'm really hopeful that they'll give us some ideas on what other towns are doing, because frankly, I'm not sure. So this is what it says. The meeting's on the 29th. We're reviewing the existing mineral extraction activity codes and standards. We are considering developing a new standalone ordinance. We're asking for their expertise in the industry and perspective. You guys can read it, blah, blah, blah. And I think all of them are coming. I know Dave Sanzaro is for sure, Chad Francis is. It sounds like John Williams Sr. he's doing some with blueberries for Maine.com. And I'm not sure if Sergeant's going to come or not. I get the impression they are, but we'll see. So again, I'm really hopeful we can get this moving. Now, the other thing is I sent a different shared document, which I think we just need to consider. Something with the access road comments that we made, so I want to flip back and forth between documents when we get to that part, but I'm hoping everyone saw it. Daryl, I'm just now realizing you didn't because you don't have an email. I can print this real quick if you want.
Okay, would you please?
Yes. I can't print the whole thing, but I can do.
Isn't that
I
this?
think I printed it.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Yeah, it says MEA roads mitigating factors, access roads. Yeah, okay, so if you don't mind sharing with it,
That's what I did.
No, Bruce printed one for each of us.
Oh, you did? Okay, cool,
Yeah.
thanks, excellent. Okay,
I included that.
all right, so before we get started, do you want to decide how you guys want to go about it?
Well,
I think
I don't know
that's
about anybody else yet, but I went down through all of your arguments,
yeah?
and
Can't remember what they are.
in my opinion, all of your suggested additions should just be added. I can't find any I disagree with that don't pretty much cover everything.
Crazy because I just so we can go to see and remember what I said. So the thing is I think that the access road thing, I think it's important. I understand. Do you guys want to go to that part of the section? Because it kind of ties in with one of the comments. So I recommend we start at the beginning of the standalone ordinance, go through, and then flip to that when we get to access roads. Okay, do you guys agree?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so the only thing I will say is, it doesn't look like anyone made, including myself, comments on the first few pages. I would like to go over the exemptions that this ordinance doesn't apply to make sure we didn't
Well, it's entirely possible that after we go down through all of these things. That when we look at it, after making the changes, we find another conflict.
Yep. I think this looks good. The only thing I will, it says it, no exploration. Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna make a note to myself to look that over. Okay. Alright. So, okay, let's do this. So, did I highlight this? Why did I highlight this?
You're at the same spot I am.
Inactive areas for creation of less components for no section. Can you guys see the screen or see it? 'Cause I don't know. Can you see it, Linda? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why I highlighted that. That's stupid. Okay. Within 180 days of approval of this ordinance, all mineral extraction operations existing shall register with the CEO and submit the following: a registration fee, ownership, evidence that it qualifies as a existing operation. For existing operations larger than 5 acres or more surface area, a reclamation plan that's a good idea. I didn't see that. Yeah, I like this. Do you guys have any? It doesn't look like anyone else had any comments on it. Bruce changed the word planning board to CEO. I think that makes sense because they're existing, they're grandfathered in, and we do not have to bring them to standard if it existed. Say they came to play in the 1960s. I think that makes sense.
We'd just be burying ourselves with paperwork.
For no reason. Okay. Alright, let's see here. I had a comment here. What is it? Alright, so I'm on section 2A, it says requirements. I had a problem with this. No mineral extraction operation existing at the time may expand without first obtaining an expansion of existing mining approval from the planning board. For operations of less than 5 acres in surface area, expansion is defined as an additional 50% or more of surface area. For operations larger than 5 acres, expansion is defined by 50% or more, or 4 additional acres, whichever is less. What is that talking about? Let me read this. Existing pits may only expand in conformance with the section. The owners must file a plot plan within 90 days of the effective date of the section. So there's been a couple existing grandfathered gravel pits who are considering purchasing a neighboring existing grandfathered gravel pit. And I think when I made this comment, which is considered an expansion based off of my understanding. Not everyone agrees with me. Because they would have to get new DEP permits because they're going over, let's say they're 5 acres here and 5 here, now you're 10 acres, even though they're both legally existing. The owners would file a yeah, so you guys see my comment. I can make it bigger if you want. This is gonna be up to you guys. And I can read it again. Let me make it bigger for you.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I just can't read close up.
So like I'm recommending is existing mineral extraction operations may only expand in conformance with the section that goes below. The owners must file a plot plan within 90 days of the effective date, showing the active part of the pit as distinguished from what it was prior, is essentially what I mean. I'm looking at it, I'm not actually liking my wording either. I mean, do you guys agree? It seems to me like 5 acres or 50% or more surface area.
Now, could I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Okay, he's already bought, I'm just using
An example.
hypothetical.
Yep.
He's got a 5 acre lot here.
Yeah.
He's got another 5 acre lot here.
Yeah.
Is he gonna keep them separate? or is he gonna run them as one unit?
In my hypothetical before,
What's that?
in my, the example I gave you a minute ago,
Yeah,
I think that's like kind of that's my whole point. I think that that's what they were trying to decide to do. Let's pretend they were going to combine them. To me, that's an expansion
yeah.
of operations. And all I want to know, because you got two legally non-conforming pits, all we want to know is fine, where are your boundary lines to make sure they still have their buffers and their setbacks from other houses and stuff. I think what I didn't like about the wording in this ordinance was this 50% or more surface area, right? Because like gravel pits, like you're in quarries, you're like going down. The surface area, I don't know, I just felt like it was subjective.
You know, they spread at the edges as well. I actually liked the wording that I had put into the LUO, which specifically said an expansion means it's an expansion. There's no getting away with trying to create it as a second operation. If it's contiguous, it's an expansion, period.
And I think you added that in here, Brian. Okay, so what you guys have in your current LUO is a legally existing, non-conforming extractive industry shall be allowed to continue, except that any expansion of the site shall be in conformity with the non-conformity requirements. Is that what you're talking about?
It's not in the existing ordinance.
It's in this one.
It's in one of my,
Okay. Alright, so
do people here agree that any expansion should be considered an expansion?
Yeah, I don't think it should make a
No,
difference
no,
on what
it's-
percentage.
Yeah, any expansion is expansion.
okay, so I think then my language would be more appropriate than what's in there. Existing, this should say, and I'm gonna say NEOs, mineral extraction operations may only expand in conformance with the sections. It keeps going down below us. The owner must file a plot plan within 90 days of the effective date, showing the active part of the pit as distinguished from like the slopes. Like if someone's combining right now, you've got a new buffer, you've got new setbacks. Every time I read this, I actually don't like what I wrote. Just it's so clear, but I think we gotta do something.
Should we add something about the purchase or addition of adjacent property constitutes an expansion?
What did you say?
The purchase or addition of adjacent property would constitute an expansion, or something like that.
Yeah, I think that. Yes, I think we should. I swear that Bruce or somebody, maybe it was Steve, put something in here, and I was like, wow, that's a really good idea. Hold on. Actually, I'm gonna do expansion. It's in here 17 times. Okay. Existing mineral extraction. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, expansion of existing operations. I think this is your definition. Excavation operations that exceed, see, they have the same thing that I didn't like. Alright, let's change. You guys are good. I'm gonna erase this and we're gonna come up with a new definition of what expansion is.
Okay.
Down in the definition.
We all agree, planning board?
Yeah, we create a definition of expansion.
Yeah, I don't like
Yeah.
this definition.
Yeah.
I think it's too much. Oh.
Basically, what I had added, and right now finding it is another thing, it basically said if you were expanding, you don't get to charge it as a new. You basically now have to file a new application for the combined area,
Right.
which means if you started out with 5 acres and you added on another 3 acres, you now have to file as if it was
An
an
8 acre.
8 acre.
Well, that's right, that's what I was wondering, that's why I asked the question. about,
And you don't get to say, well, I got 5 acres here, and this 5 acres is a new LLC.
No, you did, yes, we put that under reclamation.
Yeah.
Cause that's where you wrote it in here, so that someone couldn't go and reclaim 5 acres and then say, okay, now I'm still under the 5 acres and do it again and again and again. Like, you can't reclaim it in phases so that you can keep going, like your pit or your quarters or quarry, reclaim it to standard when you're done.
Yeah, the only way you could claim it as another 5 acre one would be to totally reclaim the first 5 acres, which means you gotta shut it down.
and you gotta bring it back up to standards.
Yeah.
You know,
So the idea is not to leave a loophole.
well, that's why I asked the question, to get the answer,
Mm-hmm.
so we get the discussion out.
Excellent, alright, let's see.
So I would claim wording, is the board in agreement on that procedure?
Yes.
Most definitely.
I don't David.
What's that?
Other than perhaps revising some wording, are you in agreement with
Yeah.
that?
I was working on revising some wording, sorry.
Okay.
Can I just do a quick search? It looks like most towns in Maine use the definition that I didn't like, which kind of makes me take a step back and think maybe I'm wrong. Okay.
Allie, I just sent you a text on some things that I had put together
Okay.
for that.
Alright. Excellent, okay. I'm gonna then, for the sake of time, I'm gonna say, I think I have a comment. Let's see. Okay. Alright. This really helped me. Okay.
I know personally, I feel it's important not to try to leave loopholes
Yeah.
that a good attorney can easily slip through.
So I have, the expansion can include one or more of the following, enlarging excavation area by mining additional adjacent land, increasing the depth of existing pit if permitted, expanding processing areas such as adding more space for crushing, screening, washing, stockpiling materials, adding or widening access roads or truck routes, increasing production capacity or expanding the life of mine by accessing additional mineral reserves.
I'll try to do it on this screen.
Does that sound good to everyone?
Sounds pretty comprehensive to me.
I gotta
Yes.
search it. Come on. Okay. So, an expansion to a gravel pit. Okay. I think personally, Toad would recommend putting something about boundary line changes in there, and then instead of saying expansion to a gravel pit, I would just say an expansion to a mineral extraction operation.
Yep.
That way we don't need to worry. But beyond that, like I said, I think we need to do something about boundary lines. The only reason I'm thinking that, let's say like they have 5 acres now, but then they take by a budding property and they end part of their operation on the original lot. They still might be only 5 acres, but now it's shifted over and there could be streams, lakes, houses, like a lot of things when technically their footprint didn't increase. Their boundary lines changed, so that is why I'm recommending the boundary line thing, but I think that's a great definition, yeah. Alright, so, planning board, if I copy this, because I can't do it this moment, and put it in the ordinance, I change the word gravel pit to mineral extraction operations. And again, I personally would add something about boundary line changes. Do you guys agree with that? Like, can I get an approval so I can do that after this meeting?
I'd
make a motion, we approve, Ally's wording.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
I second, and I would like to remove the word generally.
Let me see, where is it?
Second line, second word.
Okay.
And not generally, it means.
Yep. Yep.
Size or
Sure.
shoulder footprint.
Yeah, okay. So, alright, I guess this is good. So expansion.
And do we have a definition already of minerals, or do we need to do that?
It's funny that you put that. I put the word mineral in, but I never wrote the definition because.
Because what if they're taking loam instead of minerals?
Any earthy material or?
Well, at the best, we need to make it so that mineral extraction includes pretty much everything.
Mm-hmm.
If it comes out of the ground, it's included.
Well, except for. Yeah, so loam is considered typically
Mm-hmm.
an extractive thing. You can't say anything taken out of the earth because what if someone's taking water? You know what I mean? I think it needs to be, you know what I mean? So yes, alright. Before we lose focus.
That's probably a whole other issue.
Right, before we lose focus, I'm gonna go to the definitions quickly. And I know I put the word in here, but I don't think I wrote anything. So, minerals, okay. So, I did, okay, so this needs to be filled in. In fact, if somebody, you guys wanna work on that, why I just go ahead and add this expansion definition now, I think.
I'd like to make a comment. We do have a definition of mineral extraction site or area.
Yeah,
And it includes topsoil, stone, rock, minerals, clay, gravel, sand. So, I mean, why do we need to define it further than that?
site or area. Development, handling, moving, processing. Well, right, so you wanna, are you talking about the mineral extraction site or area definition?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you could take that, not the whole thing, but half of that. And say minerals are sand, gravel, clay, and it says minerals in there.
Well, I mean, if you're saying a mineral extraction site to be expanded, that would include all of these types of extraction.
Well, we need, wait, are you talking about the expansion definition or the minerals definition?
Well, no, if you was, the expansion definition, you're talking about adding in terminology for topsoil and whatever, loam.
No, so yeah, this is what I think I should do now. So I think we're gonna take this definition here, and I'm gonna change a few things so you guys can look at it. But I think Mike's thing was the fact that it said other minerals are mined, so we don't have to list it all. So we could say an existing mineral extraction site, and then that person could go to that definition. Is that what you're saying?
Sure.
I'm not opposed to that either.
Mhm. That works.
I mean, why duplicate? Why make redundant items in the ordinance?
Is there, David, is it possible for you to send me that not as an image, but as text, or did you already get it?
Yeah, I can do that.
If it's hard, then somebody else should type it.
No.
But then I'll go through and change generally. Generally goes out. I'm changing the word gravel. And then ending it at we're gonna put existing mineral extraction site. Okay. Alright. So I still need a definition of the minerals. Unless we wanna take, minerals include sand, gravel, clay, mineral stone, rock, topsoil. Unless we wanna take this.
If you include topsoil, that pretty much.
Crushed rock, clay, topsoil, subsoil, peat. I mean, do we need to talk about metallic ores around here, or quartz?
There's separate
Gypsum,
regulations for that, so.
What is that? Is that the Webster definition? They wanna look that up?
I did not.
Steve, look at 2 paragraphs above the mineral extraction site. We have a mineral extraction operation definition that lists more and different items.
Really,
Yes.
let me get back up there. I got out of the definitions there.
Oh, sorry.
Alright. What I'm gonna recommend, sand, gravel, clay, mineral stone, rock, topsoil. Why don't we just add something or in things of this nature? It's like a catch-all.
Now, couldn't you just put that as a general and say, any materials removed? Any,
Minerals or any material extracted from the ground, such as sand, gravel, and things of this nature. I mean, I dare someone to. That allows you guys to have some common sense if there's something we didn't include.
Here's, I finally found my wording.
Okay, for what? Are we going to switching to expansion now?
No, for defining an expansion.
Yeah, okay. So.
Okay, we're jumping
I'll
back.
let you take a look at it.
Yes, okay. These are the limited quantities used to determine if they will be combined for total expansion. The plan will be designated the application. Combined for total. Or site plan, all dimensions and quantities. What is that, section 4.1? Yeah,
It's kind of 12,
yes, 4.1, okay.
but that language could easily be added.
Yep. So,
It doesn't give you any outs.
right, so it does talk about the tiers, so we're gonna need to rework that.
And it's fairly simply worded.
Alright, I'm going to take this. Sorry. Just so everyone knows, David texted me the definition, so I'm just trying to email it to myself.
I can send that to you, or you can copy it off my phone drive.
Yeah, well, it's in 12.1, right? So shouldn't I be able to get it?
It's in,
Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
it's 12.1.1.
Yep.
Provided you have the latest version I worked on.
Okay.
I know I had sent them out to you.
Okay, so here we go. An expansion to a mineral extraction. Because this is for existing
You
operation.
might have to change the wording just a hair, because this was written to fit into the LUO.
Yes. Well, first I'm going to do this one, and then I'll change that one. I'll add that to it. Increasing the size of the operation. Existing, what is it called? Mineral extraction. Is it site? Is that what it says in the definitions?
Well,
There's-
it's under,
There's 2, mineral extraction operation and mineral extraction site or area. We have 2.
Right, one's an area and one's the actual operation.
Yes.
Okay. I'll just say site or operation.
Mhm.
And while we're trying to get a somewhat finished product tonight, that does not mean we can't still make some changes, especially if we find that we've created any conflicts or we've left something out.
Bruce, do we need to move back to your motion to allow Ally to add information on boundaries? We didn't quite finish that. You
I'm
got a
sorry, I
second?
can't hear you.
Well, now I'm putting it on.
Oh, you're putting it
I'm
on?
doing it now.
Okay.
Just to, I'm
Not a
trying.
problem.
The heck?
Kinda got halfway through it, that's all.
And then someone remember, we gotta look at the definition of minerals. I see what you said. Dave.
You got a typo on your addition.
Okay, I'll get it in a minute.
It says damned instead of sand. There you go.
Hold on, an expansion to means increasing the size of the operational footprint and the system options. Expansion to include the following. Don't get caught up in a format. And then what were we, just boundary lines? But yours says it, right, Bruce? Did yours say something about boundary lines?
Doesn't mention an actual boundary line, it just says the project or site plan. Which may be the boundary, it may not, depending on the size of the lot.
Okay. I don't know. I'm gonna tear this up. What is this? This is time. And then, Steve, you just said under minerals definition, I have a typo.
I
Oh
may
no,
have
that
fixed
was
it.
on the definition of mineral.
Ignore
Bruce already fixed that. It said damned and he's changed it back to sand. So.
Oh, I did it.
Oh, you changed it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought
I was like,
saw
how did Bruce do it? Okay, thank you.
I did it, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
maybe it was Mike, I guess.
Okay, so,
I have a question regarding the Google Doc thing.
yeah.
Should I be in editing mode or what's
Yeah.
this other?
Yeah, be in editing mode because
Okay.
then we can go through and say, we vote to approve, bam, bam, bam,
Okay.
bam, bam.
Just making sure I'm doing it
Well, if you're in
right.
editing mode, there won't be any suggested changes.
That's what editing mode, I mean, no, it's suggested mode.
Okay,
Any suggestion?
I'm in editing, so that's why.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go to suggesting.
Yeah, right, and actually so is that shit. Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Hold on.
sorry.
No, I did the same thing, I'm glad you said that. This definition needs to be, alright, do you guys wanna do this, go ahead and vote on this now, see if you guys have any more comments?
Let me scroll up and read.
Because if we take this definition plus the wording that I made a recommendation on page 3, saying that if any of these things happen for currently existing, this thing comes into play, then they have 90 days to submit the changes. Okay.
So I have one comment. Expansion of existing operations, and then we say in the definition, expansion to a mineral extraction operation means,
I think it should say
it
to
should just say
and-
is, increasing the size. We should delete anything that's,
Well, and expanded anything to an existing mineral extraction
so,
operation. You want to say is increasing the size of
no, because we've got what we're talking about, expansion of existing operation.
Mhm.
The definition is
Okay, then let me
increasing the size
I got you.
or our operational footprint.
Got you. on, let me just see.
Because that, having that there,
Yeah, I'm with you, I
I'm
understand.
not sure if you should add the term operation of equipment. Because that would mean
Where do you see that?
somebody couldn't just upgrade.
no, operational footprint.
Oh, footprint, sorry.
Yeah, okay, so I understand what you meant. I copied it because that was actually language we were gonna put on page 2 or 3. So for the definition, guys, it says expansion of an existing operation is increasing the size or operational footprint of an existing mineral extraction site
Or operation.
or operation, because that's in the definitions down there, there's 2. The expansion can include one or more of the following: enlarging the excavation area by mining additional adjacent land, increasing the depth of the existing pit if permitted, expanding processing areas such as adding more space for crushing, screening, washing, or stockpiling materials, adding or widening access roads and truck routes, increasing production capacity or extending the life of the mine by accessing additional mineral reserves, or changing the property and/or boundary lines. Do you think that last bullet I added is taken care of in bullet 1?
Enlarging.
Bullet 1 says enlarging the excavation area by mining additional adjacent.
They kind of overlap a little bit.
Does it? Do you think it's necessary to have both?
You can keep them both in there.
I would keep them both.
I'd rather have less gray area.
Right, okay. Alright, any comments on this?
I would,
Because there's a whole section which we talk
Yep.
about how that works, which I think.
so
Good.
my comment would be to remove expansion and can. This includes one or more of the following.
No, because if you say can include, that means that there's something we forgot. We left ourselves a little loophole. So if there's something similar to this, but we didn't type it, if you put the expansion includes one or more of the following, and we forgot something, then
Okay.
we are screwed. So
So then I would
personally,
just
yeah.
remove expansion because we're trying to define expansion.
Yeah. So
this can include, yep.
I'm with you there. I don't mind that at all. Let me say that. Okay. So on the screen, unless there's more comments, that's what it looks like. I can make it bigger if I need to.
The only question I would have was including access road as part of the mineral extraction.
But this is all we're talking about right now is expansion of existing operations.
Right, but did you also add the words, access road?
Not in here, no.
No, not in there, okay,
No,
I
not
thought I
in
heard it.
No, I don't think I'm reading it correct. I didn't say the word access though.
Accessing additional mineral
But
reserves.
extending the life of the mine, increasing production. Yeah, I'm not even sure what that meant, but I don't mind it being there.
Oh no, adding or widening access roads and truck routes.
Where do you see that?
Right in the middle.
Yeah, it's like a middle.
Fourth one down.
Oh, yeah, I don't think that should be in there, personally. The reason is, I think that Steve's work and Bruce's work and whoever else worked on it on the access road part, we're gonna have like a nice, fun conversation. But logging in Maine is like a prevalent industry, it was, and you have access roads that go on for hundreds of miles sometimes to get to the lot. If we start adding an access road as an expansion of an existing one, I personally think that we're opening a can of worms, but we can leave that in there for now and see what happens.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling, is that you're opening a can of worms, including
Just in the expansion part.
as part of the expansion. It's probably never going to happen, because I can't see why they would expand an access road that exists. But at the same time, by including it there, you're making the access road part of the project and not a separate access road that can be used for any piece of land adjacent to it.
Well, I think I need to make a comment here. The state has determined that the access road, specifically this one next door, is part of the project, And we were supposed to be notified. of the
There
project.
there's actually an argument over that.
So right, no, they did say what the DEP said was that it, from a notice of intent to comply, notice should be sent because of that, but that it was not, like it doesn't count against their permitted acreage, and so it's separate. It's a part of the project. It should have been permitted. A butter should have been notified because like there's more trucks coming in and out, but it is not part of the quarry. See what I'm
If they
saying?
had
So
made
it's-
that of the quarry, they would have then been increasing the total
Correct.
size of the
Correct.
project. And
It's not-
that's something that I could see an access road using up the whole 5 acres
Right.
that you're allowed.
So like it's actually more than that. So I wasn't included in like the operation itself, the quarry, but also if the access road was part of it, then technically it wouldn't have been allowed because that part's GMA 1, right? So the attorney was very clear, like if you have a Dollar General and you have a lot that's zone commercial in, let's say Edmonton for fun, and they build this Dollar General, and then you have a road that gets back to it that happens to cross a subdivision, goes in between 2 subdivisions, right? So subdivisions are zoned residential, it's commercial in the back lot. That access road, if it was part of the commercial Dollar General, would not be allowed to cross in 2 zones, right? So access roads are not, they should be thought about, they should be permitted, but they are not part of the operation, whether it's Dollar General or a quarry. And this isn't my personal opinion, this took a lot of research and talk to a lot of the town attorney to figure it out because of the sergeant situation.
Now, don't we already have ordinances that address roads and driveways?
Right, so so my note on that section is this should be addressed in a different section of the ordinance, but not in the expansion definition, personally. I don't think it should be in your expansion of existing operations. If it's a new operation, you're going to take into account the application. If they're changing their road, it's going to be taken into account because of the standards, but I don't think it belongs in this definition, personally. But we have a lot to get through, it's already been an hour, so I either need a motion, we can leave it in for now, and I'll have my comment on the side for myself before we finalize this. However you guys want to proceed, it's fine with me.
I make a motion that those 2 words be removed now.
What, Mike?
Well, didn't we already have a motion for,
I don't think
Yes.
anyone ever seconded it.
No.
we didn't second that?
They were second, but we didn't do a final vote.
We never,
Can you reread it? The motion that was seconded?
it was to
Sorry.
put your words in there.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I think
Then
that one's canceled because we've already added the boundary. You're
Right,
putting
the
boundaries
reason
in.
we made that motion was I was gonna do this after the meeting,
Yeah.
but I went ahead and did it now. I'm with you.
So how do we get rid of that motion?
It was never, never did a final vote, so.
Okay.
it's-
Okay, so, yeah, for the sake of, I don't know, sanity, someone make a motion, a new one, a clean motion.
Well,
Bruce just did, right?
Can you make a motion to remove what though?
The term access road.
In truck routes? It says adding or widening access roads and truck routes. That is what I recommend that we not have in this
Right.
definition. These
I make
minutes.
the motion that we delete that
Okay.
second.
sentence.
Okay. All in favor? Okay. So I can delete it. I'm deleting it right now.
Okay.
It isn't that access roads won't be permitted and addressed, they just won't be addressed as if they're part of the project itself. Because they're a road. And a road may be built into a parcel of land with no project at the end of it.
Where are we headed?
So I'm going back up to where we were originally so I can put in what we just wrote, part of what we just wrote in that spot. And then we're going to talk about it and we're going to get some movement here. Okay, so it is on page 2, section 2A.
Mhm.
This is where no mineral extraction can expand without first obtaining approval. So I'm thinking, and then this is after the word planning board, is what I'm gonna delete. And then, here, please give me a minute. Let me take myself out of this for a minute. So, okay, I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go here. No more section, existing.
Are we having fun yet?
Oh, I'm excited because we're making progress. This is good. This is really good, as much as it's frustrating. Alright, we're gonna definitely have to look at this. So,
We've had several good ideas here.
okay, so right now it says, may expand without first obtaining an expansion of an existing mining approval from planning board. Existing MEOs may only be expanded in conformance with this. I'm just going to say ordinance because I don't. Okay. The owners must file a plot plan within 90 days of the effective date of this section, showing the active parts of the pit as distinguished from those slopes and setbacks existing at the time of the adoption, which will be exempt. Okay.
We need to add a definition of the word pit.
I don't know about that. Maybe. Will you make a note while I try to figure out? I guess we, I'm gonna actually remove this what I just added. Jen was crazy.
Because that was all in definitions.
What?
That was all in definitions.
Right.
So-
And I want to see definition of mineral extraction. What is it called? The expansion? Expansion of what? In the definitions?
I can say.
Okay.
That was page.
Expansion of existing mineral extraction. Was it operation maybe? Okay.
There was, yeah, and then we have the mineral extraction site or area.
Okay. But this is, that says section 2, expansion of existing operations.
Okay, yep.
And then, let's read this and see what you guys think. No MEO, which is a mineral extraction operation, existing at the time of the passage of this ordinance may expand without first obtaining an expansion of existing mining approval from the planning board. Existing MEOs may only expand in conformance with this ordinance. The owners must file a plot plan within 90 days of the effective date of this section showing, it should say ordinance, showing the active part of the pit. Ooh, I see why you asked for pit. Active part of the operation.
Yeah, that sounds better.
As
There you go.
distinguished from those slopes and setbacks existing at the time of the adoption. So what was there versus what's happening now, which shall be exempt. See definitions of expansion of existing mineral extraction operation.
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
The owners must file a plot plan within 90 days of the effective date of this ordinance. So if this goes into effect this
Today.
September,
Yeah, they have 90 days to say. So we have one up here where it says that they have 90 days. Oh, I see what you're saying, Mike. So, okay, if they exist, they have to, when this goes into effect, if they exist, they just need to register with us and all that stuff's up there. But, if they exist right now, the ordinance goes into effect. Yeah, shit. Oh, plot plan at 90 days.
so that would effectively shut everybody down.
Well, no, what I actually was thinking is they exist right now, right? They exist. The
Mhm.
ordinance goes into effect. And then they expand somehow. They have 90 days, like why are they just coming to us for an expansion? What's this 90 days thing?
Existing and only expand with this ordinance. Owners must
Well, what you're asking for here is simply something that defines the existing operation. You're not saying they have
But
to.
it's
get
under
rid of it.
expansion.
Yeah,
You already have the thing that you put up here, says that they have 180 days when the ordinance comes into play to register. Okay, so that's great. This is expansion of existing. But if they are expanding and the ordinance is in effect, then they just need to come like anybody else. So.
I understand what the ordinance says right there. It says 90, if you try to expand 90 day, if you try to expand after the ordinance goes into effect, you have 90 days to get all the material into you.
So why would we do this? I mean, I'm not opposed, but why would we do that? Is there something I'm missing? Why,
Yeah,
see
no,
what I
it's-
highlighted? Why don't I delete that?
yes, please.
You see what I'm saying?
Either that or it needs to be put somewhere else.
Well, no, I don't.
We already have 180 day
Right,
Yeah,
So
and then
this
from
is-
that, right.
duplicative.
Yeah, I'm thinking we delete this, but are we okay with that?
Yep.
Yes,
Okay, so what I'm actually gonna really allow is this. Bam. Now. If they wanna know what
Yes.
an expansion means, they can go see the definition.
mm-hmm,
Okay, so we need motions. Which I cannot.
oh, so, motion to accept our current changes to section 2A
That's right.
as written.
I'll second it. All those in favor?
Alright, so I'm going to accept, and we're gonna move on. Okay. I can't move only on page 30, but 10 paper copies seems insane to me. Like, first of all, with mineral extraction activities, you can't even see things on paper unless you want them to make big maps. I'm not saying that you guys, I think there has to be a paper copy for the office record. There needs to be an electronic copy for the office record. If you guys all want a paper copy, totally get that. I'm going to be sending an electronic one no matter what. So, but 10 does not seem excessive.
Yes, I mean,
I say 2. So the office can have one and they can have a hard copy too.
Right, because technically, that's a good point. If they give us one electronic and one hard copy, right now we've got it. And then if any planning board member wants a paper copy, the code enforcement or the chair, I would know that. I would just make it for someone like Gerald.
Yeah, but I'm saying that they ought to have a hard copy too to have on hand. Because, you know, for the foreman to have it on hand or whoever is there.
For the application,
Yes, for the applicant.
it's not a bad idea.
You know, I'd say 2 on that.
But I don't want to make any changes, guys, unless you talk. I like your idea.
I like the either 2 or 1 per planning board member and
And one for the
one
office.
for the office and an electronic copy. Or I don't want the town paying for making copies, I want the applicant paying for making copies.
They never do. They never do. But this is a big project, so maybe I could enforce it. Like most of the time, people send it to me electronically, and I'm actually the one doing it, which is why I'm like, why am I doing this 10 times? It's absurd. But it really should be the applicant. To your point.
See, I don't need a paper copy because I'll just work off the PDF.
Me as well.
See, that's why I say 2 copies would be sufficient.
But the applicant needs to have a copy because they have to have a signed
Doesn't
copy.
work online,
Yeah,
like yourself, we just.
Is this something you can docu-sign, or does it have to be like pink in front of somebody else, a witness?
The application?
3 paper copies.
Yeah, they're required to have a copy of the application that's been approved. They got
Right.
the applicant.
Well, this isn't, we don't know, this could be denied. This is just the application.
Yeah.
That they're submitting to you for review. So personally, look, we got what to do. So technically we can do it, like Mike said. I think I put 5 to 7 copies, 1 per planning board member, 1 for the office record. Or we can say, we want 3 paper copies and a digital copy, and then we'll disperse them accordingly.
I make a motion to accept your current change,
The 3?
the 3.
I'll second it.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Okay. So, what did I put in here? Oh my gosh, I took so much. Okay, personally, I think these are kind of common sense. We want to know where all the hazardous materials are. That's easy. So look, a lot of gravel pits have gates with locks on them. It's pretty standard. I'm aware that this one quite close to us doesn't, but every other one I know does. If you guys don't, we don't have to require it. I just figured I'd put that in there. If they have plans on controlling the access, especially with quarries, like if they had a water table or something, it gets kind of dangerous, you know. I don't really care too much about this. So everything in green I added. So you guys just want to look at it and see what you think.
They're not even supposed to have hazardous material on hand at a pit anyway.
What? What'd you say?
They're not even supposed to have hazardous material.
Yeah, a lot of them have like gasoline and stuff to like run certain equipment, propane tanks, I think. They're pretty standard.
Yeah, and a containment.
Yeah, like they call it, most of them have.
Yeah.
And because I only know that when I did the inspections, we went through and the DP was asking about do you have your like spill safety gear on. Good.
That's part of where I was going with the use of the word pit. The pit is the active excavation area versus the shop that you built next door where you do maintenance on the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
It's all part of the mineral extraction
Area.
operation, but the active excavation you can't have hazardous materials stored in there, but you could have them at a maintenance garage.
So they call it a development measuring a primary processing this is non-fluid excavation. So a borrow pit, I guess, is sand, gravel, and fill. By definition, I'm hoping there's another one here. Yeah, so okay, so from what I'm gathering, just quickly looking here, they've got a definition of a pit. They have the borrow pit for like the sands and stuff, and then they're including, if I'm reading this right, the mineral extraction operation as like the pits for like the quarries and all that, and the excavation site is like the area adjacent to the operation. So we could turn, so I'm gonna have to go back and change stuff when we do this, but mineral extraction operation to mineral extraction pit. Meaning it's that area you're talking about, the area where all the extraction's happening. If you read this operation, or we can just add it, actually. What do you guys want to do?
When we have, in the past, reviewed an application, the application has been for the entire project, which means the entire project area. And pit would simply be whether it's sand and gravel or quarry, the area that's actually being dug out.
So do you want to just put, they have borrow pit, but it's not including all the materials we need, so we can either take out the word borrow and just have a single definition for pit and have it all encompassing, or we can leave borrow pit and write another definition for anything that wasn't included in that. So borrow pit is, yeah, it sounds to me like it's wherever you're taking sand, gravel, and fill, but it doesn't include rock or clay.
I'm showing that Maine does not have a legal definition of a pit.
Okay.
It depends on the context, state law, environmental regulations, and local zoning. It said in general, the legal and industry definition is a pit is an excavation in the ground created by removing earth materials such as sand, gravel, rock, land, and the minerals. The context of a gravel pit is the area actually excavated where the material has been removed.
So we could do.
I think that's the general understanding.
Well, right, but I guess I'm losing hope, guys. To the 7:15, I really want to have a draft for them, but I can't be here till 10 o'clock. But I can sit for another hour if I have to. But so, do we want to take pit and make a definition? Do we want to? Because there is a catch-all in here that anything that we haven't defined, if you need a definition, it's not listed. You go to the Webster's Dictionary for reference. So we have borrow pit. What do you guys want to do?
I think we leave our definitions alone and just in what we're working on, say the mineral extraction area.
Okay.
Is that what? Hold on, I lost it.
Yeah, I think that does work. I'm with you.
Yeah,
Go back up there.
because we've defined that
Mm-hmm.
as the active. Yeah,
Okay.
You could reference to what we have listed as minerals
Where?
to prior. Did we do that yet?
Yes, we did. I think. Which number are we on?
uh,
I mean, I'm on the page, but
okay.
like, what made us start talking about this again?
We were on number 5, hazardous materials, and we detoured down the pit versus work area. And so I don't think we need to do anything.
Okay, I'm going to pee really quick. Pardon my French.
Impervious containment area.
I got that recorded, don't worry. Yeah.
And so does Greg. But Mike has access here. Everything in green. I'm only wait a second, but there are my comments. If you guys just want to go down and see what you think. So just so we're clear, number 8, the reason I crossed out final approval from the planning board was because like they need to prove to you that they've applied for their state and federal permits, right? That's part of the application process when you're reviewing. But I will never issue a permit until those permits have been issued by the state and feds. So, like other towns, they'll do conditional approval. Like we approve this project as presented, assuming they get their permits. And that sometimes happens weeks later, and we don't want to have to come back just to say, here they are. And so that's why I put before the code enforcement issues the permit.
And that's why in the LUO we had provisional approval.
Right. Correct. Right.
Take your time.
Another way,
So you guys can, I'll be right back.
another way to handle the pit thing also, I like this idea of mineral extraction area. But then add afterwards as part of the definition, commonly referred to by most as a pit.
Mm-hmm.
And that way there, if we forget somewhere and don't spot one, it's covered.
Right. I like that, Bruce.
So you said that in the definitions?
Yep, I'm not sure if Ally was adding that or
Well, I can,
basically the definition would be for mineral extraction area.
mineral extraction site or area all of the land disturbed or otherwise developed for the extraction, handling, removing, processing, hauling, and storage of minerals, including any access roads, and cleared areas adjacent to a pit or excavated area.
Where are you on that?
I'm on page, hold on. Definitions, page 43.
No, we had that many pages.
48 total.
And that's considered a definition of what that you just read.
So mineral extraction site or area.
Yeah.
Is what we're defining.
Okay, so yeah, I could see site being access roads and all that, but actually a pit is.
Actually, I thought we had already voted to take including any access roads out.
I believe we did.
That was only for the expansion part,
That was the expansion.
not for a definition of the.
But I don't think those should be
Well,
in
it
the,
needs to be removed from here as well.
but I think,
We're creating a conflict.
I don't agree. I believe that the access road is, if it's built specifically for that site, then it's part of the site or operation. I mean, we're not talking about Route 9 where they're driving up to someplace and then going off the road. We're talking about one that's specifically built for their operation.
But
That's
it
part of their
also,
operation.
it also accesses other parcels of property. It is an access road.
If
It
it's
is
built
not
specifically
part
for
of
access to the
project
quarry.
itself.
If it's built specifically for access to the quarry, but that's the purpose it was built, then it's part of their operation.
No, it's not.
I don't agree.
Look up the definition for access road.
No.
Yes, look it
No,
up.
you
It's
need
part
to-
of the quarry operations, is the road. And without the road, there is no quarry.
If you continue to interrupt, I'll be asking you.
Go ahead and ask me. Go ahead. I'm not going anywhere. What happened?
Okay, we're down to definitions for mineral extraction, mineral extraction site or area. All of the land disturbed or otherwise developed for the extraction,
Page
handling,
43.
removal, processing, hauling, or storage of materials.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's deciding, that's a definition of the whole project. That's not a
Right.
definition of just,
Right, so
That's
I think the operation, based off of the definitions we have right now, the operation is where the work happens, like the removal of the material, the quarry, the mining. The site is everything. The buffers, the everything.
but
The road, right, everything.
mineral,
I don't know what we're talking about, so
we were,
well, the idea was under, Mike was talking about our definition for mineral extraction area, meaning also known as the pit,
yeah, I think
meaning
it's
just the area that you were digging up.
yeah, I think it's the opposite, based off of how it's written.
Yeah.
Which means that could change in the expansion.
See, to me, those other parts for handling, removal, processing, hauling, and storage should all belong up under mineral extraction operation.
So you want to switch them? Is that what the planning board wants to do? You want the site to be the area you're digging, and the operation to be everything else? Yeah, it says they'll be flip-flopping.
so the operation is
Where you're digging.
the over,
No, the operation
overall
is a
project.
pit. No, so the operation is a pit, and maybe where you store like big piles of gravel and stuff. The site or the area is everything, including the based off of this definition. Now, if I flip-flop them, everyone needs to understand that we have to go through this entire ordinance to make sure MEO correlates with the site now. Like,
I see the operation as being
I don't disagree. I think rationally your logic makes sense.
the whole thing, but the mineral extraction area is the spot where the activity is
No,
happening.
I don't disagree with you logically, because that is what I originally assumed, because rationally what you're saying makes sense. The only reason I discourage us from changing it is because we will have to go through this ordinance, and everywhere that Hancock mentioned MEO, they meant the pit. So we're gonna have to go through and switch those words throughout the whole thing. And everywhere they said the
That
site,
Keep the definitions as they stand.
Just a quick search.
well, right, but you're gonna have to do it for the site and area too.
Yes.
So, okay, so my vote, which I don't get one for the record, is to leave it as it is, but rationally, what Mike is saying, I thought the same thing, so I don't disagree with your logic at all.
I vote that we switch them.
So you're making a motion?
Because I'll make a motion that we switch.
I think I should stay at the same, but
So if there's a motion, we're gonna need a second, you need to vote or a counter motion, so we don't lose our motions here, which is my fault.
I make a motion that we switch them to, that one right there is,
Correct. So Bruce made the motion, and the Jonas Conjurov was the second, she said the same thing. Right, switch them? Okay, all in favor? Okay, all opposed? Okay, we have a tiebreaker, this is so fun.
No votes lose.
Okay, I was gonna say, if you did pass, someone was gonna have to volunteer to do that. So, can we all just in our head
Okay.
know that MEOs mean hits, even though I agree rationally doesn't make any sense. Oh, you know what, guys? If we like have a lot of time later and we're like, we hate this, we can switch them before we send the final copy to the select board. But for right now, we're just gonna keep moving. Yeah? Because we had a no vote, because it was 2-2.
When it's 2-2, a tie, no loses.
No loses.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't
I
think
thought it was the opposite.
No,
No, I don't think so.
You know?
What's the question?
We had a tie. We had a tie. Did the motion pass or did it not?
It fails.
Okay, that's what I thought too. I really did think that.
That's just wishful thinking from Bruce.
so we're leaving it the way it is,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
No, I don't disagree with you.
It doesn't make sense, but like, I don't think we need to go through all these pages and switch everything the whole way down.
Right, so
So
whatever
if
we
we
did.
just internally know that it doesn't make sense and this is the true definition, then we
Okay,
can move forward.
Okay.
so I'm gonna actually make a note for myself. MEO and ME.
However, that
site.
gets us back to the original thing that came up, and that is under mineral extraction site or area, it says all the land area disturbed or otherwise developed, blah, blah, blah,
It's everything.
including any access roads.
Yeah, that makes sense, because it's the whole general site.
No, now you're including the access road as part of the project, which
Right.
you've already taken out of the
No.
other section.
So no, but it is part, it's, right, so a road is always a part of the project, it's just not a part of the activity. See what I'm saying?
Yes, but that means now you, in one spot in here, you're saying, oh, when you get approval for a project, you're approving the road.
But you always are. That's what happened last time.
The road is a separate application.
Separate standards. So I think, okay, to Bruce's point though, I think in the application here, we actually put in there a different, it's not a part of like when you, it doesn't count against you in your mineable acreage. Right? It also, if you have a backlot that is zoned properly, the road cannot prevent the project from being approved or denied, but the road is still brought up to standards, the road is still considered, because like when you have a mineral extraction activity, like you have to have certain pavement and slopes and stuff, so we still consider it. It's just not a part of the activity itself. See what I'm saying?
Yes, but that means you can't make it part of the definition. Because you have just made it part of the.
Do we define what the operation,
I think there's a mineral extraction definition of the access road. let's read it. Hold on. Okay, so Steve put this definition in. Mineral extraction access road is a private road, driveway, lane, entrance, haul road, or other traveled way that is constructed, improved, or used primarily to provide access to or from a mineral extraction operation.
And I need to apologize because I edited that
Oh, okay. That's all
from
right.
what Steve originally put in there, but all
I mean, I can see it if we need to. Was it a minor edit?
it just removed the duplication of the words mineral extraction access road,
Oh, okay.
like
Yeah.
I did on a couple other things.
Yeah,
I
you're
just
good.
want to be upfront about that,
That's okay. That's their fault.
What section are you on?
It doesn't show you made the change.
So,
No,
right,
because I was in edit mode,
so
not
in between MDL and extraction site, which technically speaking is in the wrong area. I'm gonna move that. It should be alphabetical.
What page are you on? Oh, I think I got it.
43.
Oh yeah, and well, you might see it. I just deleted it. Okay, so now it's the top. It's alphabetically. So it goes mineral extraction access road, mineral extraction operation, and then it's site.
Okay, you're down in definitions.
Yeah, so I think that my brain isn't working as quickly as it is, so I'm going to, from a code perspective, consider what Bruce is saying about the access road being part of the site definition. I gotta think about it, because I'm not sure. If you guys want to make an opinion or a vote on it, that's totally fine, but I can't get into this exact section.
I think we need to say whether access roads are considered part of the operation, but the 5 acre, how do we define what that 5 acres is? Is it the access road, the workshop, or is it just the excavated area
Right, because so you
for
have, right,
extraction?
yeah, so it's a good point. So you have the excavated area, right, your pit, your gravel, whatever, where you're chopping up, getting minerals, right, and then you also have like buffers around that, like mandated buffers, right, and I think all of it is the site area, the operation itself, which is where you have the mineable acreage, is based off of what we have written right now, is the operation. Like that's your mineable acreage, which, you see what I mean? Based off of the way it's written right now, the site includes everything. Your buffers, your roads, whatever.
Okay.
Bruce is making the argument that the road should not be considered part of the site, and it should be like an adjacent portion. You're still applying still the standards. It should not be in this definition. I don't know.
So site overall, that's the
Everything.
hunk of property.
That's all. Yeah.
That's the entire parcel of land owned by that entity.
Well, not necessarily the entire parcel of land, because a quarry or a gravel pit may only encompass a section of someone's larger plot.
Okay.
So you
So
have 20
there are a few very large sections of very large lots in town, over 100 acres.
right, only 20 of it is the actual operation. That's a site. And then the pit within that site is the operation. So you got sites, everything that has to do with the activity.
Okay.
But the operation is the actual activity happening. And what has been made very clear to me is the access road is not part of the actual activity, but the actual mining. You
Okay.
don't calculate it in the mineable acreage.
So that should be part of the site, but not part of the operation.
That, right? Yes, that's kind of where I was with it.
Yes.
But Bruce, what were you worried about again? Somewhere in here, the conflicting?
Well, it's simply that a road is its own separate application.
listen,
It's not part of.
It's gonna be part of their site plan.
If you're making a, okay, let's say, hypothetically, you were going to have a new quarry set somewhere off in the woods.
okay,
The fact that that quarry is developed will depend on having an access road. But the access road is not dependent on the quarry.
right, that's true. Okay, so I think the way that we can solve this quickly and efficiently is by taking out, including any access roads from the site definition, because we have a definition of a mineral extraction access road, which still is considered in the application, still on the site plan. But if we take it out of the site area, that actually won't have any bearing in a negative way, because the road has its own standards that have to be met. So,
And has its own permit that has to be applied for.
Wasn't last
well, I did issue a permit for it. Yes, I did, so yes, okay.
Yeah, 3 years later.
Yeah, 3 years later.
That's when I got hired, guys. That's when I came on board.
Well, I realize it's not your fault.
Alright, so,
Okay, so you, okay.
so my thing would be, okay. So
I think it should stay the same, because it's talking about anything that's developed specifically for that operation. It's not talking about roads or driveways that are already there. You know, if you got a road that's already there, then somebody wants to put a pit at the end of it. That's different.
No, it would still need to be brought up to standard.
Well,
Or,
for that particular application, sure.
right, I mean, I'd say take it out. I don't think it matters. I don't think it's gonna negatively affect this ordinance, boarding residents, because we have it here, and we have a whole section for it. So on the screen,
See, the problem is you just added the acreage of that to the mineral extraction site
okay, so,
legally.
yeah, so you guys convinced me. So I have it crossed out here from my perspective that we need motions and stuff for this.
I make a motion that we accept the change, removing, including any access roads.
So I'll put, well, go on.
I'll second it.
So it really be like this.
All those in favor?
So it'll say including cleared, how do I make that go? There, including cleared areas adjacent to a pit or estimated area.
What it amounts to is that for any project, they are going to have to get an access road. But that's a separate permit, and if it fails to get a permit or approval, project goes away. But it is not technically part of the project, because that road, in this case, that road passes through one other property. There are places where an access road may pass through 5 or 10 properties. And
Okay, so can I take us back real quick on page 3, item, I think it's page 3, whatever, where we have the 3 paper copies of the application, including 1 digital copy. How many days in advance, so let's think about this. I would say submitted to the CEO at least 10 days prior to the scheduled meeting. Because I have to get it to you guys, oh no, I think I have to get it to you 10 days, so it's over 14 days. Because they want me to review it.
I can accept that.
So that I give it to you guys in 10. I need a few days to look it over. Okay.
It was 21 days.
I don't think it
It
is.
was 21
I don't think so.
when we did Plisker.
Let's look.
Could be, I don't remember now.
No, I just had it here. Hold on. Let's look. To Gerald's point, I could be wrong about this, but I. Hold on. Keep them there and do that. Agenda materials, okay. So, planning board. Oh, this is tiny. Powers and duties. And it says, yeah, have agenda materials, which is application materials, at least 9 days before the planning board meeting. So, if they get it to me 14 days, that will get it, I can get it to you guys in enough time. And they review it. Alright. So I think for the sake of following the same standard, we should follow the land use ordinance there. Alright, did you guys get anywhere with 5 through 8?
We didn't get anywhere with it.
No,
At the same time, reading through it, I don't see any problems with any of it.
I make a motion to accept 5 through 8 as currently written. What'd you do?
I just went ahead and said, oh, Mike is doing this one like set, but we need a second and a vote on it.
Yep.
I second.
All in favor?
All those in favor?
All opposed? Okay, so, I don't know, I kinda like to know what the scale is. I don't know if it's necessary for us to tell them how to do it, but in my experience, it is necessary.
What was this section?
It was section,
B, sections 5 through 8.
section 2B, yeah.
2B, 5 through 8.
Good, thank you.
Oh shit, is this only for expansions?
Yes.
I thought it was the application for everything.
Then I think the application for everything refers back to this.
Okay. Does it really
I
hurt?
really hope so.
If not, I can fix that. I intended that to actually be in this section. Article 4, 2B. Oh, it says continued expansion still. Crap.
Yep, so section 3, new mineral,
Oh yeah, it does, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. Alright, so, I don't know, like I said, in my experience by looking at applications all the time, I think it should have a scale. Typically, we don't require people to make sure site plans prepare, but this type of industry, I think it should. Looking at it, I don't think it has to be a surveyor, it could be a licensed engineer. If you look at 9, like before you get to A and B, I would say prepare by a qualified surveyor or engineer.
or, yeah.
Do you guys?
I would agree to add that.
Okay. Let me see, qualified, and then do you guys all agree?
I agree.
Qualified. Let's say surveyor or engineer. Okay, showing the following. Okay. You guys okay with my scale, or do you guys recommend something else?
Looks kind of.
No, that should be good.
Okay, I'm just gonna say, change. That one's a pretty administrative. Okay, how did I add this?
Okay.
So, the DEP has different standards depending on how big the project is. I don't know, you guys have a part-time code officer, I don't know why you wouldn't follow that. This just says, or intervals that are acceptable by this should say MVP. This is just talking about contouring lines.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's why I put that in.
And that's talking about just operations under 5 acres.
Yeah, I think that once you get above that, it goes to the 200 feet at 5 foot contour intervals. Once you get above 5 acres with a deep.
Okay, I see that now, yes. Do we need a motion on this, or?
I don't know, I guess, maybe.
All right, motion to accept the edit as written.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? You realize reformatting this is going to be so much fun.
Well, it's its own thing.
What's that?
There are a few formatting issues, but it's its own ordinance, so it doesn't have to follow the land use.
Well, no, the big blanket.
I know, it did drive me crazy already.
Okay.
And Mike, what section is that?
That is section 2B,
And then
9B.
9B, 2B, 9B.
Yes.
okay, so now we're going down to the following submissions and narratives shall be provided with the application. I mean, I'm still of the belief that we shouldn't, I mean, you guys can do whatever you want. I wouldn't, it's going to be very difficult to find the location of wells within 3,000 feet. I just had someone trying to find a well on their own property. I think it's super important to have it like within, we don't want anyone's houses to get ruined, their foundations, their wells, any of that. But I think it has to be consistent. Wyndham, Hancock, almost everyone I know it's within 1,000 feet for the wells and the location of residence.
So what does a 3,000 or 1,000 feet look like on the map of Clifton?
Well,
Here,
do you
you're
know?
going to have to
I
take.
can't. I don't have a thingy.
You
But
don't?
I bet Mike does.
What do
Do
you,
you have a?
Well, I needed to get it on
Well,
there.
right, I bet he does and he can do it if he just goes to display. Or I bet you could do it. Do you want to do it?
I'm not sure if I know how, I don't know how to hook it up.
So find anybody else with the thing, or give it to Mike actually.
here,
And then if you go
I'll
to,
show you where the file is.
well, hold on, let me get him hooked up to the computer. So if you go to display, like in your
Yep.
settings, I might have to take myself off. Or I might kick me out. Let's just see.
Settings.
Okay.
Just go to,
If you just type display up top. That's what I do. It makes it way faster. Okay, and then, yep, display settings. And then scroll down to multiple displays.
Yep.
Yeah, and then go down and always connect.
detect.
We didn't find anyone.
We didn't find another. Oh, you know what? This.
It doesn't have it, you think?
I
Your Bluetooth on?
This is. Let me look.
Turn your Bluetooth on. It is on.
Add device.
Yeah, try that. And then do wireless dock. I might have to take myself off. If not, I can look at your computer.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, okay. Alright, just look at my computer. What are we looking for?
Okay, let me get rid of that. And over here, and USB drive.
yeah, and then go to LUO. And then go, wait a minute, I'm trying to remember, July 8th meeting. And
1 mile circles? Or
3,000 foot circles.
Okay,
Alright, so Gerald, David, Linda, whoever,
okay.
I don't know what they're showing.
You just bring the picture up to full size.
You're familiar?
That made it smaller.
What do you want
Okay.
bigger? If you hit
Yeah.
Control Plus at the same time,
Control.
you
Yeah.
can keep doing it and I'll keep
Oh, I can,
Oh, you're good.
I can scroll. So a 3,000 foot circle.
This is just the existing tips.
So
I can
just
look at.
pick one, Mike.
Yep, I was gonna say right here, the one that's,
Which one's that?
that's
That's the
the
one
one
up near Chick Hill.
across, oh, that's, Arizona?
Yes.
Okay.
Does he have an active one?
Oh, yes.
No, there's two there.
Well, should I invite him to
Well,
this thing?
The other one, this would be
Okay,
Dave.
I want to send him a formal,
There's two separate pits there.
I want to send him a formal.
Mike, what's his name? Owns that, the larger part.
Who?
Okay.
So these circles are approximate in that
Is it,
they would actually have to draw a polygon shaped to the outside of your
Yeah.
property
That's
line.
3,000?
so is it
That's
3,000?
3,000 from the center.
From the center to the edge is 3,000 feet.
Do you have one that's 1,000?
It's 1,000?
Circle
No,
that shows
I
1,000.
didn't do 1,000 because it becomes a much.
Michael.
So,
And then, Frank has one?
So that's a 3,000 foot radius.
Yep,
Yeah.
around all the existing pits that I can find.
Okay, yeah, no, I think it's important, so I know I can send
so
them,
those are the
you know what I mean?
existing, I was just trying to get a point of reference in my mind, what 3,000 versus a mile, so looking at this one, that's everybody on, Chick Hill Road, and what's Stagecoach going that way, and partway up Bradbury Brook.
Yep.
And then, I mean, there's nobody over here, but until you get to the Parks Pond area, that's a significant chunk of land that,
Well, and it's not only that, it's the way it's worded that you have to send it to every property owner, not just to residences. And remember, the actual area is going to be larger than those circles. That's an approximation.
right, it,
Doesn't take into account property boundaries or borders.
right, because this ends up being, so off of his pit, it's a straight line, 3,000 feet out here on this,
Yep.
and
Exactly.
a straight line
You're
out
gonna
here.
have corners, you're gonna take out a bigger area.
Right. This is gonna be out here at the lake. Oh,
It
so
could-
it's a
it could be.
significant, yeah, I'm just guesstimating. That's a significant,
Yeah, that's just for that one. You're gonna
what's
have
the
to-
mile?
Nobody said anything about a mile.
Oh, okay.
Well, so this one, right, so
Sorry,
we're
it's
looking,
on his.
Yeah.
well, no, so the section we're looking at, right, you guys are talking about two different sections, so the one right here, right, it says
Okay.
that they have to note the location of any existing wells, dwellings, etc., within 3,000 feet of the property boundaries of the proposed no obstruction activity, so that's not 3,000 feet around the thing, this, in section E right here, it's 3,000 miles from the property line, so it'll actually go out. I don't know, did you measure from the property line?
No,
No,
Right, so that, what he's showing you is actually relevant to a different section.
No,
This one,
that doesn't say boundaries for the property, it says boundaries of the operation.
property boundaries of the proposed operation, so property boundaries are property lines.
Well, it could be changed to just boundaries of the proposed operation.
Yeah, okay, so that would be a good compromise, something like that. The name, so this one though is just, if I remember correctly, this is for the site plan. This one's not talking about notifying anybody. This is just noting the locations of them on the site plan within 3,000 feet. I still think it's excessive, but if we took out property boundaries, I would feel significantly better about this portion.
It wouldn't change it that much.
I mean, it actually changed it a lot, but it wouldn't change it from the argument that you just made here. It wouldn't change it at all. But the way that it's written right now, that makes that like 3 times bigger. Your circle should be 3 times bigger with that word property in there. So I think no matter what, that needs to be taken out. Because it's from the property.
It would push them out some.
Well, no, you'd have to go to boundary lines and then do 3,000 feet.
Right.
So if you had
But
a
that would be
100.
sitting there, I could have spent a half hour on each circle.
I didn't know you were going to do that. I'm not suggesting you should. I'm just saying, no matter what, code enforcement recommends you take the word property out of that definition or that statement.
I would suggest that if there's a dwelling, there's a well.
Yes.
So, and it's easier to note if we're just having them note things on the map so that we can see it, take out the private wells, leave the public wells.
I don't think you have any public wells.
No.
I don't think there are any.
Oh, there are, yeah, you're right, there are no.
I just feel the state, by basically promoting it as 1,000 feet, was saying that's as far out as we need to be concerned.
Yeah, but we don't care what the state says. We want our own rules. That's why we're doing this.
Right, but I do think we would, what I encourage the planning board to consider, is we've got to balance protecting the residents 100% in the interest of your residents. But Clifton, I went back and like Clifton has been a mineral extraction community for a really long time. There have always been gravel pits here, and that is, I mean, there's more, like right now, I just added 2 more people, like, and this is not an exhaustive list at all, so we have to make sure that we aren't doing what the attorney called an illegal taking, making the ordinance so restrictive or so, it varies so much from what it originally was that it is going to negatively affect people. That's what opens us up to lawsuits. So I think we just got to compromise here. Like, what is the purpose of this section? The purpose of this section is to show us what is occurring around the proposed or existing mineral extraction site activity. How far do we need to go how far do you guys need to go? Like, how far do you want to know where the wells are in the house and garden?
I think one thing that might make it a little bit easier is if we change it and add something in there that excludes gravel pits because they don't blast.
With a chop.
Well, they chop, but that's not going to affect properties as close.
Okay.
Now, blasting, if you're blasting, it affects properties a lot further away than chop.
Yeah. So the
Than
interesting.
grinding of the curve, whatever you call it.
Is that part of the blasting plan?
Yeah.
Well, that's not, the blasting plan is not a requirement. That's not a requirement in the blasting plan. That's just telling you what they're going to do.
So they do go through, Mike, and do a survey of all areas within X amount of feet. It's not 3,000, I do know that. Based off the DEP permit, right? And they do like a pre-work survey to see how things are. And there are in here, and by DEP, they have to do like seasonal blasting schedules, that kind of thing. To Steve's point, I think if you're gonna put something so restricted 3,000 feet, you should see if there's a place to put it under the blasting portion. You know what I mean? Because this is just what, for general applications?
This is for expansion of existing operations.
Right, but it still refers back to, as Mike pointed out in section 3, if you have a new one, you have to do all of this. It's just a weird way to word it, actually.
So E is, well,
The real question comes down to, by making the distances out to 3,000 feet, are you actually protecting anyone, or are you simply catering to some people's fear? Because
It ain't your well that has to be.
the state has already basically said, you know what, you don't need to be concerned about it beyond 1,000 feet. And if damage occurs to someone's well due to blasting, they have to come fix it.
So if you look at section J, it says any mineral extraction operation proposing the use of blasting shall submit a comprehensive blasting plan as part of the application. Off the top of my head, I don't know what that entails in this ordinance, but what you could do is make E be 1,000 feet, like the standard, and then make sure that you make that blasting, comprehensive blasting plan part of the application. Like make sure you're taking into account the concerns about the blasting there. That way, it's not affecting the gravel pits, but we are taking into account the impact of blasting. So I'm gonna look up, while you guys debate this, I'm gonna look up comprehensive blasting plan to see where else it's listed.
Well, there's one other problem with requiring this comprehensive blasting plan, and they can turn in all the paperwork they want to us. There isn't anybody in town qualified to analyze it or tell you over and how that's going to be a problem. And that is one of the reasons why the state has taken control of the blasting plans themselves, and they have if you go to the DEP, you find that there is an extensive list of requirements.
can we simply require a DEP approved blasting plan?
That's what we have right now. Yeah. So I think we're doing really good work. I think this is gonna not be fun. I think we're gonna have to try to meet next week. I just really want to get this a draft of some sort 1 week in advance, which means that by the 22nd, I would like to get them a draft. I mean, I could send them this draft, but it's kind of, I don't know. I mean, I can look at my schedule. We're only on page what?
11.
47. You see what I'm saying? We're making good progress. I'm very happy with how productive this meeting is. I just know, I haven't eaten dinner yet, and my brain's still, it's not working for me. Or you guys can continue to work too. I don't want to leave behind here. I just want to make sure we get this done. I'm not saying we have to now. I just want to make a plan. So, can we, if everyone can't meet, can we do a workshop? If the board agrees, can we do a workshop? Knowing that this draft isn't final, this is just what we're willing to present to the people, to the guests.
I'm out of town next week.
Right?
So our problem next week is a select board meeting.
Okay. So, Linda, you said that Frank has a gravel pit. What if we actually presented to them the application process? I know we're not done with it yet, but we might be able to get through that. You see what I mean? And then that way, because that's what they're gonna, I don't know, I need help. What do you guys want? How are we gonna do this?
Personally, I feel that sections E, J, and L are excessive as written. They show bias as written, And as such, I make a motion that we return to the original language in all three of those.
So, I don't. Was Jay in here, or did you add it completely?
It was added, I believe it was added completely. I don't see anything. Well, no, it says,
Because it said you replaced, so did it say,
somebody must have already said
Says
something to that.
blasting plan,
plan if applicable, okay.
which eliminates, as worded, it eliminates, most gravel.
Well, I just couldn't find a comprehensive blasting plan, so, but there's no blasting plan mentioned anywhere else in this ordinance either, though I do remember a lot of blasting. So I'm just saying, if we're gonna require a blasting plan or a comprehensive blasting plan, you need to know what that is. And I just really thought.
And again, they're basically asking the planning board to rule on something that they have no expertise on.
Did I interrupt a motion again? Did you make a motion?
Yes.
And then I'm sorry. I
Wasn't seconded yet, though.
Right, okay. I didn't mean though. I think when I do that, we get off track. I was gonna call. I apologize.
The motion is fairly simple.
Could you say that again?
To revert sections E, J, and L back to the original wording, which I believe is entirely sufficient.
So,
I don't agree.
do you want me to read what was there for the board so you know what Bruce is suggesting?
Yep.
Okay, so
Please.
instead of like what you see for E, J, and L, E would say location of residents and wells within 1,000 feet of property boundaries with names of property owners. So, and that actually is pretty extensive. Okay, that's what that says. So J says blasting plan if applicable, and L says where processing of materials will be brought on site from another location. So that's what was there, and then the recommendations are what you see that's not crossed out.
Well, basically, that last one, it leaves it up to the planning board to decide whether what they intend to bring on site is appropriate or not.
I think currently you don't allow anything on site, but it takes that.
Most pits will, for instance, bring in large rocks with the crusher, reprocessing of material.
Why should that be allowed?
Why should that be allowed? Why does it, if they're doing a quarry, they're doing a mining operation. They should only be dealing with the stuff they're
Well,
pulling
so
out of the earth.
personally, I think that's actually what will be really beneficial of the next meeting, because I don't think any of us do the industry. And the one thing I think is super difficult is when we're making rules about something we don't understand. Now, there are aspects of this that we do understand. I do from permitting, you do from your experience, right? So, and I think we need to keep those in mind. But asking why do they need to do that, I don't know. We should ask. You know what I mean? I know that they do it. I don't think they wouldn't do it if they didn't need to, but I don't know why. And so maybe we should ask them why, and then if there's anything of concern, make a standard based off of that versus, I think we need to ask it. That's why I think it's important for in a couple of weeks. But,
I think there may be some middle ground in between what was there and what is there now. If we voted to put it back the way it was, we can go back and once we get some input, we can go back and change again. It's not
so
carved in stone, right?
yeah, so what I should do, I'm thinking, is make a copy
Mm-hmm.
and make it V3. Actually, no, I hate this version, so I'm not doing that. I'm going to put the date right now. So we know, right? And then this one, V2, because I have comments in here that I want to keep no matter what. with comments. So that way, okay, so now if you want to make your motion, I'm prepared for it. So if it is approved.
Well, I'm not ready to make a motion tonight. I want to hear from our guests.
No, I understand. So I'm saying were you suggesting reverting back to what it was? Or do you want to, because we can show them, I suppose.
Revert it back to what it was, knowing that it can change with the input of the quarry owners.
Because I've saved, well, I have a feeling the quarry owners are going to really like how it originally was, and they did not like Steve's saying. So I want to keep Steve's comments so we know what they are.
Of course, they're gonna go for whatever they want, not what we want.
Yeah,
So.
No, that's offensive. I'm inviting them because it is wrong, in my opinion, it is wrong for us to make rules without understanding how it works. To Mike's point, I think a compromise is probably going to be the way to go. But like you asking, why would they ever be bringing in materials? I don't know, but they're not going to do it if it doesn't, there's a reason for it. There's a reason they bring other materials.
That's because they're mining it from another site.
It's convenient for them to crush them up, wherever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't,
So what's the danger in that? No, I can't.
What's the danger in that?
nobody's.
No danger at all, no danger at all. No noise at all from it.
Did we ever second a motion?
Well, so yeah, Dave did second, or you made a motion to
No, I made the motion.
No, Bruce made the motion to correct.
right, and
And
then,
then one second.
I don't recall anyone seconding.
No one seconded it.
Yeah.
I agree to that, with the notion that we could make the change after speaking with the owners of the quarries, after they educated us with how and why on certain processes.
all in favor? Okay, here's the thing though, what I don't want, so I gotta get them something, and we can figure that out here in a second. What I don't want is them to come, we need to have questions ready, right? If we're not gonna give them a draft ordinance and say, what do you think of this, which is probably not a super great method anyway. Like, we need to have, you know what I mean, like, questions ready. I think one question will be like, hey, we're on section L, this is what we were thinking about doing it, why do you bring in materials? And if they don't have a good answer, then, yeah. I mean, they're definitely like the burial and disposal of, I guess we're burying rock, I
I
mean,
believe that's already banned in another section.
They still do it, and
um,
I have proof of it. Nothing is done.
Alright, so this is the one.
Well, see, I could go along with banning demolition debris. Demolition debris, shoot, I can't think of any of these other things that are really,
So like,
because most material is being brought in. They're gonna bring it in because there's a rock crusher there and they need to crush it down
And
to smaller size.
And haul it in and out again.
so on number 8, this is estimated volume of excavation. In my head, I thought they were saying like the volume of materials they're going to receive. But do you think that means the volume is the mineable acreage? Which way is
The
that?
actual volume of material they're expecting to extract from the site.
Yeah, what does that matter? I mean, we're already measuring how much the acreage they're allowed to mine, how deep they're allowed to mine. What do we care about volume? I mean, I'm going to ask them, like, I'm just wondering. Because what I don't want is them to say, we're anticipating having, I don't know, 1 cubic yard of, excavation material. And then, but they actually turns out when they get in there, they've got 2 cubic yards. ordinance. And then it looks like they lied on their application, but in reality, we asked them to estimate, and I don't understand the relevance of that question. But I might not be thinking of something. So like, I've got it here. We can ask, or maybe you guys know. I don't understand the relevance.
I don't see why it's important at all.
No.
You don't? Yeah. Me neither.
The only thing I can see is if they're gonna take out 1,000 yards of material,
Yeah.
20 yards per truck for a 10-wheeler, that's 50 trucks. Does the 50 trucks over X number of months add up to the number of vehicles that they say are
Because we,
traveling down the road?
right, so in our current ordinance, we ask how many trucks per day on average. I don't know that that's asked here. If it's not, you're probably right. Did anyone see that?
Trucks per day, but not trips per day.
Trips per day, that's what I'm, yeah, is that in here?
It's in there somewhere, I forget where. And I made a note, or I may have changed something when I didn't know I was making notes, or not making notes, that over what time period? Because, I'm estimating, 20 trucks per day.
Right.
Well, 20 trucks per day, there's 365 days in the year is a whole lot different than we're operating 6 months out of the year.
That's been a huge point of concern.
So we-
trucks a day.
We need to
Correct.
make our definitions or our requests
Clearer.
clearer.
Correct. Right.
I agree with you, Dale.
Because I'm going to tell you what the trucks per day over the lifetime of the pit is.
I think they've already exceeded.
That's purely gonna be let's throw it at the wall and see what comes back.
So we want to.
Nobody can know ahead of time just where something like that is going to go.
So I think, I know we're all going to try it on. Under public hearing, I think this is going to be extremely expensive. I think we just need to clarify. I think it's important to notify butters. I think it's important to have a public hearing. I want all that. I think it's great. But if you are sending by first class mail, property lines within 3,000 feet of any boundary of the property, that's a ton.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Where was that one?
It's hard to know what page I'm on. Hold on. It's too big. It's under public hearing. Hold on. This
Application procedures?
No, hold on. I got this. Oh, page 15.
Oh, I see it now.
14, I think. Yeah.
14.
Yeah, it's just I think it's important that the butters are notified. With the way mail is going, I would actually say you should do it like maybe 14 days or 30 days even. So like DEP, you have to send a notice to a butters 30 days before you apply, technically. That might be a slightly extreme, but I think we need to ensure the people who should be notified are 100% notified, no questions asked, in a timely manner so that they can come to the meeting. I think that's going to be tense. Not only is it expensive, but you're notifying half the town by notice. Are you on the right spot?
Anyone have an idea what the largest property?
What'd you say?
What's the largest parcel in town, acreage-wise?
Well, I don't know. There's quite a few hundreds of acres.
By this, if you've got something that's 1,000 acres.
Correct. And then you go from there, go 3,000 feet out. Well, that's my point. But
Yeah. I would.
there's got to be a way to notify the correct parties.
And you're also, because of the way it's worded, going to be notifying a lot of people who have woodlots. We're not talking about protecting people's residences or churches or anything else. We are talking about having to notify somebody with a chunk of land. And there's a bunch of those still in Clifton.
So on the definition of an abutter, any person who owns property that is both contiguous to the property boundary and within, we have an argument here between 1 mile or 1,000 feet. At first I was like, 1 mile, but then Steve made a point in the comments that it's not an either or thing. Like if it's continuous
It's an and.
and within a mile. So I don't actually have a problem with 1 mile in that instance
And that's actually
whatsoever.
the state's definition, DEP state definition
Yeah.
of an abutter.
Yeah, I don't mind that because it doesn't mean you're notifying everyone within a mile. It's like if you're touching and you're within a mile, you're considered a butter. So I, as code enforcement, would in this instance don't mind that at all.
I don't know if everybody understands what that means. You know, that's not saying you have to notify everybody within a mile.
Right.
It's saying if you got a really large piece of property,
That touches.
say it's 3 miles long, say for instance,
Yeah.
and your quarry is on one side of that property,
Uh-huh.
and the property line to the next property over is 2 miles away, that means the state doesn't consider them to be an abutter for that purpose.
Right. You gotta be touching.
Now, if you
within a
change it to 1,000 feet, that means anything that nobody would be in a butter.
Right, when you, after
Possibly, yeah.
seeing your comments explaining that, you convinced me, I'm okay with it. That's for the definition.
Yeah,
Cause that will cut off, like you say, if you file
but
it.
again, that means the only time that second part comes into effect is if somebody has a huge lot.
No, he's saying if it has a huge lot, then you're
Right,
not
if they-
notifying any of them.
If they have a
No,
huge lot,
not just any, only the ones that are over a mile
No,
from the site.
it's like if I own this piece of property and you own this piece of property, right?
Yeah,
Let's do it this way, the quarry's here, right, technically in a butter, right? But if this is 2 miles long, I'm not notified.
right, but that doesn't save you from the people on the other side.
Well, yeah, but if you're within a mile and you're touching the property, why wouldn't we notify?
Yeah, no, I
You see what I mean?
agree with that.
Let's, they're within a
Yes,
mile, they're
yeah.
touching, do it. And I
So-
can't make a motion,
But they still, but the other thing, when he mentions that being DEP, DEP actually says that definition was included for major environmental projects. It's not for every little operation. It's major projects, but it's not going to affect anything.
correct, I think in this instance, notifying people that it's happening, it's
Yeah.
not gonna hurt. No.
However,
I mean, the other option would be to take the distance out
Second
completely,
half.
that anybody that is a boundary to their properties gets notified, is an abutter.
Right,
I did have a problem with the second part of that. In addition, all property owners located within the notification distance. This does not belong in the definition.
I can't read it. In addition, all property owners located within the notification distance required by the ordinance shall receive notice of any application, amendment, expansion, permit modification, public hearing, or any other action requiring review. Oh, I see what you're saying. That goes in a different section. I agree. It's not a definition. Yeah.
It's not, it doesn't belong in the definition, it belongs somewhere up in the rest of the ordinance.
Yep. I'm with you.
So, motion to accept the definition of a butter with the 1 mile
Yep.
back in,
And then, so with a mile, and then take out
and remove the other striked out, the lines that are struck out. I'll get it eventually.
Yeah, I understand. Do you understand what you meant, David?
Yep.
Okay. Wait a second.
Anybody?
Wait a second.
I second.
All those in favor?
Alright, so mine is with that.
Yeah.
So. And I said, no, thank you. Okay, and then this part I copied it somewhere else, so we have it, so I can get rid of it. Okay. I'm gonna leave that like that, okay.
No, it isn't, not necessarily a good idea, it's just not appropriate
Right.
there.
Yes, I'm with you, and I'm going to see, just so we don't lose it, if I can find a good place for it. And then we can.
Bruce, you agreed to that last motion as well?
Yeah, so
Okay.
Mhm. I guess it was under like application, huh? Alright, I made a comment.
So the question is, right now, do we have another meeting sometime in the next 2 weeks before?
Mhm.
And it can't be on a Wednesday.
I mean, or I could send, right, so, what's happening on the 22nd?
Select board meeting.
That's on the 15th.
Well, no, our meeting is on,
29th.
what date did you want to
So there is 5 Wednesdays this month.
Yes, our next meeting will be on the 22nd.
29th, last
Right.
Wednesday.
29.
29th, the last Wednesday of the month, are always our regular meetings.
Right,
That's
so the 22nd.
Alright, so,
That works.
yeah, I will be out of town, I think, which is okay though. I have like 100 comments here. Or what we could do is I could give them a read-only thing that even shows some of our comments back and forth. I don't know, it's up to you guys. You guys can absolutely meet.
I can meet on the 22nd and 29th for,
Well, 29 is our normal meeting.
yeah. So
Okay.
I should be able
Where do we go?
I should be able to make both those dates too.
Okay.
I might not be able to make the 22nd, but
What night?
So the 29th, I absolutely need everybody here to have guests coming, so it's super important. But that's our regular meeting. It sounds like Mike can make the 22nd.
Mhm.
Dave Noto is like 75% can make it. Yeah?
we'll go with that.
Okay. Maybe you can make it.
I can make it.
You can make it.
Do I have?
Sounds like Joe can probably make it. Okay. Linda, are you free? Yeah, okay. So worst case, like you guys can, I know that it's difficult because we work in conjunction. There is like a really good chance I can't make the 22nd, but you can't connect with this
But-
computer can connect with that.
okay.
Well, does it have to be a Wednesday?
Pardon?
I said, does it have to be a Wednesday? I mean, what day works better for you, Al?
That's a good point. So I am free the 23rd. That's a Thursday, or the planning board meeting, or the 16th.
I'd like to give you as much time as possible to send those out to people. I'd go for the 16th if other people could make it.
I could do the 16th.
16th is what?
Thursday. Next Thursday.
Maybe.
You can't?
No.
And I'm away.
Okay, that's okay though, because I think I actually have a board meeting I forgot about something.
Thursday night.
So the 23rd?
Yeah, hold on. let me
23rd,
just-
I'm good.
Okay, so I can do, the 23rd, I've got nothing. And then the 21st, I also could make work because I don't need to go to Edmonton. So the 21st or the 23rd.
I can do either of those.
I can do either.
I can do it any day, pretty much, so.
I can't do the 23rd.
Okay. Can you, Bruce?
I can, but You said you couldn't do the 23rd.
No, but,
21st.
no, I can do the 21st, I can't do the 23rd.
21st, that would be my,
So, if you can really go through what's here and look at it, right, so that we already have areas, like, I already kind of know what I want to say in this, because I've read this thing so many times, right? But if you guys can look at it, that way we can just jump to things quickly. You think? Is that what you're thinking?
and you've already sent out the invitations
Yeah.
for the 29th.
Yep, I did.
Are we calling this a meeting or a workshop?
These will be meetings, both.
I make a motion to have another meeting on July 21st, 6 p.m.
Second.
All those in favor?
Okay. So yeah, I just sent, just so everyone knows, I just sent Mike Lufkin and Frank Arasimic an invitation. Because Linda pointed out those were the pictures you're looking at, the circles. So that is 6.
I know.
Well, I found a couple of spots on there in my surveys. It's like, what is that spot in the woods? Oh, I see piles of boulders. That's it.
I never thought about Mike Lufkin.
I don't think it's there. Well, so I'm happy about that, we'll see what happens. I can't remember why I made that, I mean, there was a reason for it, the mineral extraction mitigating factors for the access road. So if you guys can look at the access road portion, and then maybe we can implement some of these protections, and that way we're gonna get the best of both worlds.
Yep.
Working on that, okay.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have comments.
Oh,
She did not,
yes, you have comments.
I guess my comment is, when this project down the road was approved on July 7th of 2021, that road was included in the project, in the whole site plan supposedly. But they never got a permit to do the road. There was never a permit from the town. The ordinances in the town states you need to get a permit to put in a driveway or a road. And that permit was never applied by sergeants or John Williams until 3 years later, when Alexandria finally gave him a permit. So Bruce was saying that the road is not part of mineral extraction operations. But how do they get to the mineral extraction site without the access road? So I fought with DEP for how many months, Alexandria? Did I fight with Mike Clark in Augusta till he finally said, yes, the access road is part of freeway operations. And then they shut the quarry down, and then they re-notified us that we were abutters. Me, my neighbors, and two of my neighbors and us. That 167 Airline Road was part of quarry operations. So my question is, without the access road, without a road that they specifically built to go to the quarry, that road was specifically built for that quarry, am I correct? For that quarry. So it is part of the quarry. And now Bruce is saying it's not part of quarry operations. But heavy machinery, trucks go in and out of there, they haul all crushes in, they haul crushes out, all kinds of activity, all day long, 5 days a week, but yet it's not part of the quarry operations.
Well, I think what Bruce was saying was more general, and you're talking about a specific road.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
But
That's the definition of a mineral
any
extraction.
access road, it was not even supposed to be in GM1A residential village zone, which is where we are located. And no industrial activity was supposed to be in residential, but there's plenty of it, of activity. and I don't think that was right. It took 15 or 20 minutes before they approved this project. If you go back and read the minutes of July 7th of 2021, you'll see exactly how that all happened that night. The code enforcement officer, Rick Levitt, was not here. I don't think I ever met Rick Levitt. Many times as I called him, we called him about it, never heard from him, never heard from him. So, how can they, there was no discussion on this whatsoever. It just, all of a sudden it was there. No notification, there was no agendas put out, because if there had been an agenda saying there was going to be a quarry across the road from our home, we would have been here to at least been able to say something. Or we could have put an appeal in or something, or put in a petition or something. We didn't know until a year later when they started. And I don't think that's right. We were not notified.
Which I think is why we're making sure people are notified. She's not wrong about what the road was. But I just want to be very clear, hearing her talk, I think we are going to have problems with the definitions. Because she was saying mineral extraction operations, and I'm like, no, operations is a pit. So let's think about that over the next couple weeks. Because just it's a natural language that people use.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We might need to fix it. Yeah.
Okay. You go on.
Okay.
Thank you all.
You guys are adjourned.